Hi, in this video, let's take a look at PPP authentication, PAP, and CHAP. Okay, so PAP is a very basic two-way process, no authentication, which is not necessarily a good thing, right? The username and password are both sent in plain text. CHAP, however, is more secure than PAP. It involves a three-way handshake exchange. Not really a handshake, three-way exchange of a shared secret. We'll see how both of these work more in a moment here. But the authentication phase of PPP is optional. It happens after LCP establishes the link and right before NCP does its configuration of the layer 3 protocols. Okay, let's take a look at PAP. So PAP is very straightforward. R1 in this case, the remote router sends its PAP username and password to the central site, R3 in this case. R3 will then evaluate R1's username and password against its local database. If it matches, it accepts the connection. If it doesn't, it rejects the connection. Unfortunately, this all happens in plain text. CHAP is a little different. In this case, the central site actually initiates this three-way exchange and sends a challenge message to the remote router. The remote router responds with a value that is calculated using a one-way hash. Then the local router checks the response against its own calculation of the expected hash value. If the values match, the initiating node acknowledges the authentication. So let's see how these work. I'll explain them in a little bit better detail here. So PAP, here's the configuration for PAP. It's fairly straightforward. So we have the username HQ, password HQ pass. Okay, that depending on who is initiating the connection, this would be only used if HQ was initiating the connection, because HQ would send the sent username HQ, password HQ pass, and then once that is sent over to Santa Cruz would check it against its local database, which as we see here, HQ pass, it would actually be accepted. Okay, in the example I'm going to show you, Santa Cruz is going to be initiating the connection. So it's going to send the username Santa Cruz along with the password Santa Cruz pass. That will be sent to HQ. The HQ router will then verify that. Again, it's its own local database, username Santa Cruz, password Santa Cruz pass, and since it's a match, the connection will be established. All right, let's just take a look at how this actually works. So we have the PPP link is established. Okay, configuration request is PAP. So that's what I want to use is PAP. Okay, it says, okay, PAP is fine with me. So this is where, in this case, the Santa Cruz router sends its sent username Santa Cruz and its password Santa Cruz pass. So that is sent to HQ. HQ looks that up in its local database, says, yes, I have a match for that username and password. They are the same. So it will generate an ACK message. If it did not match, it would send a negative acknowledgement. All right, CHAP uses a same shared password. Okay, so let's take a look at how this works. Okay, so over here we have the Santa Cruz router, and it says, okay, I want to be able to connect with username HQ, and my shared password with them is going to be Boardwalk. HQ says, I want to be able to connect with Santa Cruz, and my same shared password is going to be Boardwalk. Let's see how this works. Okay, so Santa Cruz initiates a call. The challenge, because it's configured with CHAP, says we're going to use CHAP Challenge labeled is from HQ. So this is coming from HQ. Santa Cruz looks up HQ. Okay. Oh yeah, username HQ, password Boardwalk. Okay. It actually takes that password, feeds it through an MD5 hash, and generates a hash value. That hash value is sent with the authentication name. Hey, I'm Santa Cruz. Here's the hash value. HQ looks up the username Santa Cruz, says, oh, okay, I see that username, and I have a password for it, Boardwalk. Well, let me run it through the MD5 hash and generate a hash value. Then it's going to determine whether those two hash values are the same. If everything matches fine, it will generate a success message. If there's any kind of authentication problem, it'll generate a failure message. So it's pretty straightforward on both, whether you want to do PAP or CHAP. Of course, CHAP is the recommended authentication method.